I'm going to show you how to knit with different colours. This is slightly more complicated than just the basic stripe, but also still quite simple. It's kind of like a little wave. This is the right side of the project, this is the wrong side of the project, and it is a bit curly, but it's very simple and knits up very quickly. Okay, so I've cast on 17 stitches, and then I've knitted 1 row plain and 1 row purl, and what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the row that has the pattern with the other colours. So as we're doing stockinette, we've done our plain row, we've done our purl row, so this row is a plain row. So what I'll do is I'll knit the first 4 stitches, and then I will add my next colour. So how you do that, it's very simple. You basically just tie a little knot around the wool that you're using already. So I'm going to go like that and pop it through. Okay, and then it's not so tight, you can still move it, and you basically move it all the way up to where you're about to start knitting. And then what you do is you start knitting with the other colour. Now be careful you don't knit with the tail, because that's very easy to do. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to knit 3 plain, because we're on a plain row, and I'm going to knit 3 plain with the new colour. So here we have 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to go back to the brown, so we pass it on the other side, and we go 1, 2, 3, and then we do the beige again. So making sure it's not the tail. I like to do one on top and one underneath, but that's just me, so I always do the base colour under and the other colour on top. So that's 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to finish off the row with the brown. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for this particular pattern design, I'm going to break up each pattern row with a plain row, like a row of 1 colour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ignore the beige until we come back. So we will just do brown, and as we're on a purl row now, we will purl back with the brown. So we're just doing our purl row here. We're ignoring the beige there. Okay, now you might be thinking, oh, I want to put the colour in this row, which you can do, but it just means that you'd have to bring this the whole way over, so you'd have very, very wide covers on your back. So look, it is possible, but it's neater if you just do 2 rows and then come back, because that's at the other end. It doesn't really matter so much when I've only like a small amount of stitches, but if you had like 40 or 80 stitches or something, it would make a big deal. So I'm just going to plain this next row again. And now you've got to be thinking, do you want it to be a fully horizontal or fully vertical pattern, or do you want to maybe mix it up a little bit and still be symmetrical? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm back onto using my beige row again here. So what you could do is you could just put the beige at the same point it is here, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move it over 3, so that what's beige here is brown and what's brown here is beige, and I think that kind of can give a nice look. I mix it up, I do both ways, but this is a slightly more complicated one, so I'm going to show you this one. If I was just keeping it very, very simple, I would just do 4 brown, 3 beige, but because I'm going to mix it up, I'm going to do 1 brown and then 3 beige. And then 3 brown and 3 beige. And back to brown to beige. And then once again we'll finish on one brown. So you always want to be finishing on the same number, the same number that you started with. So this row we've started on a 1, so now we're going to finish on a 1. The row before we started on a 4, we're going to finish on a 4. So as you can see, that kind of here, I'll do another plain row and you can kind of see the effect of that. There you can see the pattern kind of beginning to emerge now. This is what it looks like after a few reps. You can see it's beginning to take shape now. It's very cute, very easy, and looks pretty good. So this is the finished square for the blanket. So it can go any way you want it to go, really. It's pretty versatile. As you can see, it's curly, so it would have to go in the center. It can't go on the edge of the blanket. How I did this was I cast on 41 stitches. I did a row of plain, a row of pearl and pink, which is my base color. Then I started my pattern row. So for my pattern row, it was a knit row again. So I did 4 plain in pink, then 3 yellow, 3 pink, 3 yellow, 3 pink, 3 yellow, all the way to the end. And then I finished on 4 pink again. And then I purled the next row, plained the next row. And then I basically did the opposite of the first one. So I did 4 pearl in pink, 3 pearl in yellow, 3 pink, 3 yellow, 3 pink, 3 yellow, the whole way on. And I just continued all the way on until it's 47 rows in total. And then I cast off. And this is what it looks like when it's in the blanket.